When artist Michelangelo began his work on the statue of David, it's said that he already had a crystal clear vision of what the final product would look like. All he needed to do was chisel away enough of the marble to reveal the masterpiece that he already saw inside. And it's interesting because I feel like our coaching journeys are much the same, except for instead of chipping away marble, we're chipping away insecurities, limiting beliefs, fears, and doubts, only to reveal what was always there, but covered up, a unique and stunningly impactful masterpiece. From the moment I decided I wanted to build a business as a coach, I saw a clear vision of what I wanted to achieve. I knew the income, I knew I wanted a big team, I knew I wanted to reach the highest of high ranks and create freedom for my family. But the truth is, it was less about achieving those goals themselves and more about becoming the kind of person who could be entrusted with that kind of responsibility, who could handle that kind of pressure, and could have the discipline it takes to achieve and attain the kind of skills and talents that those goals would require. I think if we all look back and we think back to our initial sharing of our visions, we can all remember that feeling we had like we were walking back in high school in our freshman year, our prepubescent, awkward selves, holding our books in tight, feeling like everyone around us was judging us and laughing behind our backs. And yet, knowing we faced rejection, we shared that vision anyway. Because we knew that sharing that vision was the only way that one day we might have the ability to make it our realities. And in that moment, our first piece of marble, our first bit of insecurity was chiseled away. I bet you also remember the moment where a friend, somebody you thought really had your back, mentioned to you like, don't you think it's kind of silly you're gonna do that network marketing thing? You know that doesn't work. I mean, we all know that only the people who sign up early are the ones that make money. And we stood our ground, even with this friend, and owned that vision and decided to continue on. And in that moment, another bit of self-doubt was chiseled away. I bet you also remember that first time that you awkwardly shared your vision on your very first solo team call. And I say solo because it basically was. There were two other people on the call, and you knew that it was going to take forever at that rate to achieve the vision that you were sharing. But you shared it anyway, and you continued to show up to those calls even when no one else did. And in that moment, a little bit more of the fear was chiseled away. In fact, I bet you can remember the first time that you realized, all the things, all of the challenges that I have faced up to this moment were not actually there to stop me from achieving my vision. They had actually been there preparing me to be in a leadership role, to be able to empathize and walk someone else through that same experience. Nothing has been by accident. Nothing has been wasted. It was all for a greater purpose, to reveal something in you. I know for me, I look at challenges as my cue that, here comes turmoil, here comes hardship. That is actually my cue to say, there is something here that needs to go. I lean into the storm and I look for ways for it to refine me, to grow me into that next level version of myself as a leader. Because I realize that walking through that storm, looking for that lesson, is allowing me to inevitably be able to walk someone else through the same or very similar storm. Chiseling hurts. It ain't easy, but it becomes a lot more bearable when you realize what it's there to do. It's there to level you up. If you look for the lesson, instead of trying to avoid the storm, you will see the blessing that is that challenge. The truth is, we are the only thing standing in the way of our biggest visions becoming our reality. It is the labels that we've given ourselves. It's the skills that we have told ourselves we just don't possess. It's the stories we've sold ourselves on what we're capable of. It's the cop-outs that we've made. You know, I'm not organized. I'm not a planner. I get easily overwhelmed. I'm not a public speaker. I'm an introvert. I didn't get the right upline. You know, I don't have a lot of help. I'm not good with social media. It's these things that we have somehow told ourselves are like these permanent realities for ourselves, instead of looking at them for exactly what they are. They're a temporary challenge that needs to be chiseled away at to inevitably learn your way through it and become better. I mean, let's take a second to think about the person you were when you joined as a coach. How blown away would you be by all the things that you have already learned your way through? All of the fears you pressed through, all the people you proved wrong. There's a quote that says, "He who can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much." And I feel like that quote has been my guiding light throughout my entire coaching evolution. In the beginning, I was trusted with very little, but I showed up in expectancy, believing that if I was faithful with what I had been given, that inevitably it would grow to be much more. And so as I proved that I was responsible based on how I had shown up prior, I saw my business begin to increase, as well as my influence. But that's the challenge though. We want to be entrusted with more, and then we'll show up faithfully. Like, give me the people, build me the team, and then I'll show up and lead. But you and I know that's not how this works. We know that we have to go first, that we have to lead ourselves well in order to prove that we are ready to then lead others. And no matter how big of a business you build and how high you climb, that is always going to be true. We are blessed to have a CEO with a huge vision. He shares his outrageous goals openly and confidently, and then it's our job to choose how big of a role we are going to play in having that become a reality. But I'm willing to bet that Carl is not sitting around obsessing over which one of us is going to help him to do so. No, he is focused on what he has control of, his actions, and he's sharing his vision passionately, casting out a wide net to see who is ready and willing to duplicate his actions and make that vision a reality. Our job as leaders is much the same. There is no denying. We have a unique opportunity at our feet. Now more than ever, people need what we have. Health and fitness from home? Yes. A secondary stream of income for their families? Yes. A community to help support and encourage and inspire them? Absolutely. But I think what they need the most is for us as leaders to step it up, to light the path and show by our own example what is possible and why the work is going to be worth it. I also believe that now more than ever, we need each other. It has always been the power of our community to inspire greatness in one another, to collectively contribute to each other's growth, to level up our goals, and to come together and raise our standards. It's always been in times of challenge and trial and weathering storms that this community has shined the brightest. I think back about Katie Yersta when she was battling cancer and how we came together and we raised funds and awareness for leukemia, rocking our Every Sweat Matters tanks during our workouts. And we realized this is so much bigger than at-home fitness. I think about the loss of Monica Lopez's sister, Vivi, and witnessing the way that Diesel Nation came together in support of that family. And I believe that we all saw this was so much more than some virtual community. I think about Christina Delgado when she came up with the hashtag I am Team Beachbody. And we all wrote up our testimonies of how our lives have been changed. But then corporate took it even further and went and printed every single one of them, posting them all over the Provo, Utah offices. We got to witness the fact that this was so much bigger than just a network marketing company. I think about my friends, Jamie and Kim Fitzpatrick, and how we gathered together in prayer for that family, and they probably pulled some strength from knowing this community had their back as they weathered the craziest of storms, with Jamie almost losing his life. And we all realized this is just not some income opportunity. There's something special here. Lives have been changed, saved, commemorated by the work we do here. This is so much bigger than a health and fitness journey, so much bigger than a business building journey. This is our individual and collective journey to actively leaning into the storm and into each other so that we can shift and get rid of the rough patches that are left, so that we can become the best versions of ourselves. The version that was always there, it just needed to be chipped away at and revealed. I believe in our mission and the power of this community now more than ever before. If there has ever been a time in the world that people need us to step into our greatness and lean into each other's strengths, it is this moment in time. I look back on the past 10 years of my journey as a coach, and it's like this entire last decade has been here to prepare me for such a time as this. And here's the beauty of vision. It evolves as we do. Michelangelo did sculpt the iconic David, but he also went on to paint the ceilings of the Sistine Chapel, as well as tons of other famous works of art. All of the work we do here equips us to lead both in and outside of the coaching realm. It is using this vehicle that helps navigate us to our callings, the connections, the tools that we'll need to make a greater impact. An impact that we could have never imagined was possible before we started this journey. So today, albeit virtually, I stand with you. Bleeding blue, believing in your potential, knowing the best is yet to come, ready to lock arms and lean into whatever storms lie ahead, and continue to transform lives alongside of some of the best human beings on the face of this planet. I am proud to call you my teammates. I am humbled to call you my friends. We are Team Beachbody, and together we are continuously getting better.